What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Concrete Edge right here on Deco-Crete TV. My name's Jeff, and on today's show, we're just going to go over a few ways that you guys can speed up your concrete on cold weather days in a safe way. So stay tuned, and you're going to learn all about it. So if you guys live down south, I mean, honestly, this video might not even be for you, but if you do live north of that Mason-Dixon line, then you've probably had to deal with some concrete that's just not setting up fast enough for you. And, you know, the old go-to to this is throw a bag of calcium in it. And, you know, that is completely fine for standard concrete jobs, but when it comes to decorative concrete, man, things just need to be treated a little bit different. I mean, calcium chloride is definitely 100% the best way of speeding up your concrete, but it does come with some downsides. And the first one of those is going to be color inconsistencies, or maybe, I mean, not even inconsistencies, just ending up with the wrong shade altogether. I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed on those standard concrete jobs, when you use calcium, it just turns out darker and just more drab than normal, and it just, honestly, it doesn't look that great. Now, if you got a poor driveway in some cold weather, I mean, it is what it is. You just got to do what you got to do, but when it comes to decorative concrete, I mean, you should really avoid calcium chloride altogether, even for just this one reason alone. Now, the next thing is the corrosion of metal reinforcement, and you know, this is actually a pretty significant downside because, you know, that calcium chloride is just gonna corrode that metal reinforcement a lot sooner than if it wasn't in there. And again, you know, on standard concrete jobs, not as big of a deal, but on decorative stamped concrete, man, a little bit of rebar that was kind of too close to the surface anyways, and then corroding from calcium, it is just a big eyesore that you just want to stay away from altogether. Now, if you use fiberglass rebar, then honestly, this whole thing here isn't really that big of a deal to you, but the other problems, they will still exist even with fiberglass rebar. And the third thing is effervescence, and I mean, of course, effervescence can happen no matter what in concrete, but calcium chloride is just one of those things that just ups the chances of that effervescence quite a bit. And again, on a nice broomed gray/white driveway, you probably aren't even going to notice that effervescence, but on decorative stamped, especially colored concrete, you are definitely going to see it, and it's just really going to hurt the aesthetics of the job. And I mean, honestly, I've seen people like fight with this for years because effervescence can be cleaned off, but man, it just keeps coming back until it's run its course, and you just don't want to have to deal with that. So with all that being said, I mean, honestly, it's just not worth the risk. I would just avoid calcium altogether. Well, now the question is, what can we do instead of calcium flake? Well, honestly, I can break this down into 3 different categories, and the first one is just add some more cement. I mean, most ready-mix plants, they charge like $5 or sometimes even less than that just to add that extra half a sack of cement. And man, sometimes that is all you need to get the job done. So next up is non-chloride accelerator. And these accelerators are designed to provide those benefits, you know, the calcium does, and speed things up without the downsides that we just went over. Now, NCA is definitely not as potent as calcium is, and you know, but for an admixture, it's just the best you're going to be able to do with decorative concrete. I mean, honestly, 2% non-chloride is going to do about the same as 1% chloride would, and you know, most ready-mix plants, they're not going to put more than 2% of this stuff in, so this is a great alternative. It's really the only accelerator that we ever use for decorative concrete, but you do have to learn how to use it and just make sure that you're putting enough in. The other thing about non-chloride versus calcium flake is it's just a lot more controllable. I mean, I remember some times where, you know, it's like 32 degrees overnight, the forecast doesn't look good for the day at all, and you throw 2% calcium in a load, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, the sun's up, it's 50 degrees, and now you're in trouble. Non-chloride doesn't just seem to go crazy like that, so it can also come in really handy. You know, even when it's not cold, even when it's just cool overnight, warm and sunny during the day, this is a way that you can speed up the bottom of your concrete and kind of keep it at the same level as your top, and you just get so much better of an impression that way, and you avoid a lot of those surface cracks. Now, the last thing you can do is going to be hot water, and you know, this one obviously is going to depend on your ready-mix plant whether they're running hot water right now or not. And you know, in Ohio, this generally starts in November and it lasts through March, obviously weather depending. Now, honestly, you know, in Ohio, from that November to March period, avoiding stamped concrete is probably the best way to go about it. But if you have to do it, that hot water is just everything, especially with these other things we talked about. I mean, no one of these things on their own is going to speed your concrete up to the point that calcium chloride does. Sometimes you're gonna have to hit it with 2, maybe even all 3 of them to get the job done. Well guys, that's pretty much it for this week's show. If you guys, please leave us a comment if we missed anything, or if you have any questions on non-chloride accelerators or any other thing else to do with cold weather stamped concrete. Or even better, yes, give us a call and we would love to talk to you guys. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch these videos, man. I just can't even describe how much it means to us that you guys tune in every week, always hitting those little buttons down there, like, share, subscribe. That means the world to us. And if you already subscribed, just don't forget to leave those notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and it really does help our channel out. And also, don't forget about the Decorative Concrete Expo. All you gotta do, click the link right down in the description below, and all the information is there. So, from all of us at Deco-Crete TV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.